President Trump arrived in Japan Monday as part of the second leg of his multi-day trip across Asia. The president was greeted by Japan's Emperor Naruhito at the Imperial Palace today. Trump is meeting with Japan's new and first female prime minister on Tuesday. And the White House announced that the U.S. has agreed to a framework of a new trade deal with China. The news comes ahead of the president's highly anticipated meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping later this week. Joining us now from Tokyo is CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez. Nancy, what is on the top of the president's agenda during his time in Japan?
A couple of big events today, Lindsay. First off, he's going to be meeting, as you mentioned, with the new Japanese prime minister. She's actually the first female prime minister of Japan. She only took office a few days ago. She shares some political views with President Trump. She's quite conservative, and she was a protege of the late Shinzo Abe, former prime minister, and he was quite close with President Trump. And so Trump has had very warm things to say about her. Trade will likely be at the top of the agenda as they discuss a new Japan-U.S. trade deal and this $500 million or so that Japan is supposed to be investing in U.S. industry. Then later in the day, they're both actually going to head separately to Yokosuka Naval Base, which is south of Tokyo, where we are right now. President Trump is going to take Marine One. He's actually going to land on the USS Washington aircraft carrier. He's going to greet U.S. forces there, and then he'll speak in a hangar nearby, thanking the troops and talking about his military aims in Asia.
When it comes to China, what do we know about the framework of a trade deal?
Well, we know that it addresses fentanyl, the precursor chemicals that go into deadly fentanyl are largely produced in China. So we believe that that is addressed. There's some kind of crackdown that would be conducted by China as part of this deal. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that as part of this deal, China would start buying U.S. soybeans again. You'll recall that that China cut off U.S. soybean purchases back during the summer, hasn't bought a single soybean since, very devastating for the U.S. soybean industry. And then finally, it also addresses TikTok and the means by which the social media outlet would be transferred to new ownership and operated in the U.S. separately, which would give Chinese companies less control over the algorithm and less access to Americans' data.
Nancy Cortez, thank you.